Hey everyone, it's Sarah from the Nurturing Coach, and it's a lovely sunny day here today, first in a few days, so fully taking advantage of that. I've got my door open, so if you can hear a cat meow or plane or something, it's just background noise, and I apologise for it, but I'd be melting if I didn't. So today I want to talk about intrusive thoughts and rumination. So if those of you who aren't sure what rumination is, it's that when a thought constantly goes round and round and round in your head, and you just can't see, no matter how many times you try and use logic or think that you've kind of finished that thought process, it comes back around again. And intrusive thoughts are when thoughts just pop into your head that you really don't want to be having, and you can't seem to stop them, and it feels like you've got no control over your mind anymore. And of course this all plays into that narrative that they've been saying, that maybe you're crazy or unstable, and when this is happening, then it can feel like you're going crazy. I remember just feeling like I just wanted to shut my brain off, and you'd end up crying in frustration because you just couldn't get a break from it. And all of those things, then when you've been gaslit into believing you are the problem, massively start damaging you and start undermining your sense of reality. So this is about kind of recentering you back in the truth, in your truth, and explaining what's really going on here to loosen their control over you. So the first point that I wanted to make is that intrusive thoughts, they're just a trauma echo. They're not the truth. And I say just because, and that almost sounds like I'm belittling it. I'm not, because I do know how difficult they are. But what I'm trying to say is they're not the truth. Just because you keep thinking it or it keeps popping into your head doesn't mean that there's any truth in it. It's just the trauma replaying. It's a trauma loop, and it keeps playing over and over and over in your head. It's perfectly normal. It's your nervous system's way of just scanning for danger, and it's going to go on for a while until you work through all of this, work through some of those thoughts. Now, obviously, therapy is a really safe place to be able to do that, to be able to bring all of those thoughts and kind of pick through them. And you can do this as many times as you need. You can bring the same subject back as many times, and the therapist won't get annoyed with you that you're, well, I thought we dealt with that. The therapist knows, my therapists have experienced this. So on my team, and as part of the Nurturing Coach, we get it, we've felt it, we've been there. So you just keep bringing back whatever you need to bring back. You can also do journaling. I personally find journaling really helpful as well, alongside having that place to speak, because the therapist isn't there all the time, but a journal can be. You can just pick it up and just free write whatever's coming up, and it'll stop that feeling of being out of control, of having no say in this whatsoever. So once you start writing, you're free writing, so it's just coming straight out, but eventually something clicks in and you start to see the truth, and you start to realize, hang on a minute, that's not what happened. And you can move away from knowing that or believing that they are truths into seeing them for what they really are. They're just signals. They're signals that you went through something awful and you're trying to recover from it. So that's point number one that I want to make. The second one is that it's a survival strategy. It is absolutely exhausting. And like I say, I remember, you don't sleep because you can't switch your brain off. I tried meditation. I tried movement. I tried loads of things, but my brain would just not switch off. So eventually I went for medication from the doctors, because it was the only way I could shut down those parts of the brain. I think it was SSRIs I had, which are for depression and anxiety, because it just shuts that part of the brain down so you can sleep. Because when you're then caught in that loop of tiredness, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And obviously then your body starts being impacted by the lack of sleep, because when you sleep, your body recovers and recuperates, and if you're not getting that sleep, then you start to experience health symptoms as well. So that was my path with it anyway. But it's just your brain is just trying to loop all of it to figure out how does this stop? How can I change what's happened? And it might be that sometimes you go back to them and want answers because you think that's the way that you'll stop it. If you, again, in my case, when I've been thinking for ages, they've been lying to me about this, that and the other, and things will pop up and I'm like, oh my God, they were lying about that. And I'd want to then go back to them and say, oi, were you lying about that? Obviously it gets you nowhere because they're going to continue and maintain that lie regardless. And so you have to find ways to deal with it yourself. And it does give us a sense of control because it feels like we're like going through a filing cabinet almost of everything. But if you don't start to kind of organise that filing cabinet, you can just stay looping around. And like I say, it really can harm your body in the long run. So what we can do here is just bring yourself back out of the mind and into the body. So do something physical, move, breathe deeply, do some breathing exercises, touch, just really focus on coming back into your body in those moments. And it won't fix it, but every time you start to feel that loop again, just bring it back to the body. And your brain will naturally start to break these patterns, and you will start to notice that they happen less and less, and that's you on the right path. The third point I want to make is something that is just so painful, because their voice essentially becomes your voice. So in your head, even though they're not there anymore, even though you think you're out of it, you hear them in your head all the time telling you you're stupid, it was your fault if you'd have done this, or the lies, or you just constantly hear them in your head, and you start to believe what they're telling you. You start to think that you are all the things that they said you are. But what I want to clarify here is everything that they said to you was a projection of what they think they are. So it was never yours to carry in the first place. So definitely let go of it now. It's about, again, therapy can massively help with this, because it's about then rewriting your own story, your own script for life. Who are you really? And again, some of the, that voice might have layers. So it might be that it's your exes now, but once you maybe deal with that, you might find that it's a grandparents or a parent or a siblings, or so you might have a bit of unpicking here and de-stripping of all the layers. But it's about finding your way back to your own authentic voice. And that might feel like you've never heard it before, and that's where I have been, is who the hell am I? Not who I thought I was, not who I've tried to be, not who I've been conditioned to be, but who am I? And it's a terrifying but exciting journey to be on, but it takes quite a lot of, like I say, going through all those layers. And I still have things pop up now. Sorry, that's sounds like someone's about to start cutting the grass. I apologise. So yeah, therapy can help with that. Again, if you can't afford therapy, or it's not something you want to explore at the moment, just taking that moment in your journal to just be mindful of what's happening here. What is this voice saying, and whose voice is it in? Really listen, and what tone of voice is it in, and then is it true? And really start to unpick that. And then the final point here is that it's not about stopping thoughts. You can't stop thoughts. Our brains are brilliant, and they're made to think. So it's not about that. It's about softening them, and like I say, getting back to your authentic voice, of that much kinder, more loving voice that is really you, but maybe has never been given the chance to speak. And so some ways of doing that is really to reflect on the thoughts as they come up for you. And again, something that's helped me, it's in my I Am Safe course, is this something that's happening right now, or is it something from the past that might be trying to protect me, but actually it's not needed right now? Because we build up beliefs, and our mind is always trying to protect us. Oh, don't go down that path because this will happen. Or Nina, remember when we did that before and you got hurt? And now it might be that, for example, you fell over when you were roller skating. So your brain tells you as soon as you put roller skates on, no, we don't want to do this because we fell over and it hurt, and it finds all ways to kind of trick you into not doing that. But actually you might really want to roller skate, and you're older now, and you can handle pain a bit better, and you feel more confident. All those things of, no, I really want to try this. So you've got to override that. So it's just recognizing, is this something that is coming up from my past, or is it something right here, right now that I actually need to deal with? And when it's intrusive and ruminating thoughts, it's usually from the past. And so it's about having that conversation with that part of you. Thank you so much for trying to protect me. I really appreciate everything you've done. But I'm okay now. I've got this. I'm different. I'm stronger. I can do this, and I really do want to do this. So let's give this a go. And just retraining your brain. These things are so difficult to manage, which is why therapy can be so helpful. So if you are looking for a therapist, do take a look at thenurturingcoach.co.uk. We've been doing this almost a decade now. We've worked with thousands of clients on their journey, and like I said, we've been through it. We understand these things, all the elements of narcissistic abuse, and we know how to help you find your way out of that. We are your guide through that. So check us out. You can have a free 20-minute consultation just to see if you get the right vibe with one of the counsellors. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. But like I say, we are experts at this. We have been doing it a long time, and my team are fantastic. So do take a look. There are many free resources on the website as well. But take care, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you found this video helpful, and feel free to share it with someone who you know might be going through a bit of a difficult time, and send it with love. So take care, everyone. Bye bye.